So I wanted to put some thoughts down on, are you better at initiating a trade or managing a trade and exiting a trade? They're very two distinct things that I see often with students that come and work with us here at Mistrade. A lot of people find it hard to initiate a trade. They're looking for the perfect entry. They have some paralysis around finding the perfect entry. One thing that we work on with the market profile is kind of the entry and exit areas versus all in all the time. And what I mean by that is at many times you don't have to be perfect with your entries nor your exits. Again, what we're trying to do here every day is trying to take the meat out of the widest ranging, most liquid trades that we find out there in the marketplace. So really a way to look at the market is more or less, and what the profile helps us to do is find areas of interest, find areas that we have higher odds of succeeding with our entries and our exits. So that's one of the things that I want to talk about in the video today is, again, are you better at entering a trade or managing a trade? And really, they're two distinct things, and you really need to work with them in concert to be successful. Now, one of the things that once you get into a trade that people are poor at is maybe they haven't even established what the risk is. And if you can't establish a risk, you shouldn't enter a trade. So the first thing that I like to do before I ever get into a trade is know absolutely where my fail-safe or where my bail is, where my risk is. Now, that doesn't mean that doesn't change over time and both time in the market and the premise of the market, but the one thing that you have to do when you get into a trade is know where your risk is from the onset. So that can change. Let's say a trade goes with you and starts going your direction the way you want it to go. Obviously, you have to have a strategy in place to manage that trade and manage that risk. So maybe it is moving it to a break-even spot at a certain level, or moving it to just above so you have some profits, and then letting the trade really run its course. Can you stay with the trade as it's working for you? It's a hard thing for people to do when they see profits, no matter how big or small. A lot of people like to take them too quickly. So one of the things that we really work on and focus on is helping you to really be comfortable in establishing that risk first, because if you do that, your entries will be better, and then you'll be able to stay in the trade as long as the premise of the initial trade and the risk stays the same. You want to stay with the trade for as long as you can. Now, the more time you spend where you may not be, the trade may not be working for you, you want to probably adjust your risk component. Time is a part of the risk equation. I always tell people sometimes the trade may be working for me or maybe slightly against me, but the longer the time goes on, the more difficult it is, I think, to stay with an initial premise. So that's one thing that you want to focus on. The third issue that is when to trade and when not to trade. Sometimes you don't have to be in the market to be taking a trade. That is a trade, and that is a choice. So entries and exits are important in managing the trade, but when to trade and when not to trade. That's really the third component of, are you better at entering and exiting, or are you better at managing the trade? And can you sit and not trade? Those are really, again, three distinct opportunities and possibilities that are really key components of managing the entire process from the onset to the close. So that's really what we wanted to talk about today. Are you better in entering the trades, establishing risk, or are you stronger in managing the trade once you're in it? I've got a second part of this video that we'll throw out later. It's an idea that we have sometimes, maybe partnering in trade. Maybe a partner is better at entering and finding the trade entries and letting somebody else manage them. A lot of trading desks do that. So we're going to talk about that in a following video. Look for that. Have a great day. If you have any questions, check us out. Again, $4.99 for a week trial here at mistrade.info. And we'd love to see you on board here. Again, we focus very formally on the market profile, teaching, and how the markets operate. We'll see you on the other side.